Good evening, and welcome to this week's installment of the Purpose, Value, and Meaning Webclass. Tonight, we are discussing how to live a spiritual life and find your purpose. I'm Keisha Golder, and I help women define their unique purpose so they can live a life that they created on their own terms. I also created the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage 9-step program designed to get you from dreaming about your life to actually living the life that you want to live. I want to take a moment to remind everyone that there will be a question and answer section towards the end of the presentation. If you could hold it, I would greatly appreciate it. Of course, before we jump into tonight's topic, we are going to do a quick recap of last week. Last week, we discussed how relationships affect your life purpose. So in order to talk about that, we to define what a relationship was. We also needed to know how relationships affected us and how relationships can affect our life purpose. So, what are we talking about tonight? Tonight we are discussing how you can live a spiritual life and find your life purpose. Before we can talk about living a spiritual life, we need to know what spirituality is, how spirituality and purpose are connected, and of course, the benefits of living in a spiritual life. Let's jump right on in. What is spirituality? So, spirituality is a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves, and it typically involves a search for the meaning of life. Spirituality can take the form of religious observances, prayers, meditation, or just believing in a higher power. It can also look like someone finding nature or music or anything that is considered secular as giving meaning or connecting them to something bigger than themselves. No two people will have the same spiritual experience. For me, spirituality is a combination of believing in a higher power, making sure that I meditate, go out in nature. So it's a combination of a lot of things for me. I do not believe that I am unique in that. I'm quite sure that a lot of people may have or may draw from different things to create what spirituality means to them. Why is spirituality important? This is a good thing. It is important because you can establish your belief system, not the beliefs that are passed down from generation to generation in their family, the beliefs that you actually relate to, the things that fuel you, the things that give you the understanding of what it is you do in life. Those beliefs. And knowing your beliefs and having them resonate with you allows you to understand who you are. So, spiritual questions that a lot of people come across when they embark on spirituality are: am I a good person? What is the meaning of my suffering? What is my connection to the world around me? Do things happen for a reason? And how can I live my life in the best way possible? If you notice the type of questions that a lot of people ask, they are all asking in one way or another, what is the reason I am here? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? So when we embark on this journey, we find ourselves questioning just about everything. We question ourselves, we question our beliefs, we question why things are happening the way that they're happening. And when we're answering these questions, that develops our concept of purpose and what is essential to us being here on earth and making us feel connected to something greater than ourselves. So, how our spirituality and purpose connected. I talked about it a little bit before. With those questions, you begin to realize that things have a purpose. Things happen for a reason. So living a spiritual life means directing people to the purpose of their creation. We are all created to do something. Now, what that something is for you, no one can define but you. And spirituality helps us gain confidence. So I know for myself, I started my journey in spirituality, which led me to not knowing that I had a purpose, because I always knew that I had a purpose, but knowing that there were other avenues for me to find my purpose. So I've always known, and I'm quite sure you've heard me say this before, my purpose was to help people. But I did not know all the other avenues that were available to me to help people, because I hadn't started my spiritual journey. The only way that I knew how to help people was either through becoming a nurse or a doctor, a social worker, a psychologist, those type of things. But when I started my spiritual journey, I was exposed to what some people will call the esoteric. So those are the things like life coaching, because it's more acceptable now than it used to be, but life coaching, being an energy healer, being a healer, period, shamanism, these types of things I knew about and I learned about once I started my spiritual journey. So a whole nother world opened up to me, even though I already knew that I was here to help people. A whole new world opened up once I started that journey and saw that, hey, there are more ways to help people or heal people than just through the traditional ways of social work, psychology, and medicine. So when you are on your journey, you'll find that your mind is expanded to see things that it never saw before. And it allows you to explore different avenues to see, yes, what works for you, and to see what makes you get that sense of fulfillment, that sense of, yes, I belong to something bigger than myself. Also, when you're on your spiritual journey, you gain confidence. And I'm not saying that when you start your journey, you are not confident, but some people, myself included, I didn't have the confidence that I have now when I started my journey. I wasn't sure in myself. I wasn't sure in the decisions that I made. I was uncertain. But when I started my journey and I started to develop my own way of doing things, I gained confidence. And confidence is something that you need when you embark on any journey, but especially your journey to finding your purpose in life, because there are going to be people who will try to convince you that your way of doing things is not the right way and that you need to do things their way. And the only way that you can stick to your guns is by having confidence in yourself. This doesn't even have to do with confidence in other people. It literally means having confidence in yourself and standing true to who you are and firm in your decisions. Spirituality helps you with that. So, what are the benefits of spirituality? The main benefit, and of course there are more, and I'm going to talk about them, but the main benefit of spirituality is stress relief. Stress is a part of life that we all can live without. And one of the ways that you can manage stress is through spirituality. We have the tools like exercise, healthy eating, and things like that, but spirituality shows you other methods. Some of those methods are meditation. Some of those methods are really being able to connect to your emotions and your feelings. And when you connect to your emotions and feelings, you're able to realize the things that are triggering you to have stress or to be in an emotional state. And so when you are able to have relief from stress. You're able to think more clearly. You're able to accomplish more things because stress weighs you down. And when you're weighed down, just think of if you have a big heavy backpack on and you're going to school, you may not move as fast as you would if you did not have that backpack on. So stress weighs you down. And we want to be on this journey and we want to progress. We want to progress without being weighed down, without second guessing ourselves, without worrying about what's going to happen next. Additional benefits of spirituality is, one, spiritual people are gracious. Spirituality encourages you to look at the positive side of things. Yes, we all go through things, good and bad. But when we continue to focus on those negative things, we attract more negative things. So on your journey in spirituality and life purpose, you'll learn that when you are positive, you are attracting more positive things to you. And when you get these things or when you experience positive things around you, it's important for you to express gratitude, because expressing gratitude allows you to open up the doorways for more positive things to come in. Spiritual people are compassionate. Everyone is not compassionate. Some people who believe that they are compassionate really are not. They have an ulterior motive for why they may be showing you compassion, but it's not really compassion. They are trying to either get their needs met. In order for that to happen, they are going to pretend that they are compassionate. But spiritual people are actually compassionate. And compassion is not only for other people. You learn to actually be compassionate for yourself. I am one of the people who have always been hardest on myself. And my expectations for myself have always been high. And not to say that because I've embarked on my spiritual journey and finding my purpose and things like that, that my expectations have been lowered. No, my expectations have not been lowered. But I've learned to be compassionate and not so hard on myself. Yes, I know that I need to do things and get them done in a manner, but I also know that I need to not push myself to the point where I'm going to get frustrated. And then in that moment of frustration, walk away from everything. It teaches you how to give yourself grace. Not say, oh, I'm just not going to do it. And then you console yourself, oh, that's okay, because you weren't meant to do it. No, give yourself grace. Allow yourself to be able to experience the moments and the feelings of those moments, but figure out how to move on from them. You become empathetic to other people and their emotions and their feelings. This is not to say that you dig yourself so deep in other people's feelings that you feel responsible for them, but you're able to recognize the other people's feeling, express whatever it is that you need to express to help that person, but you're also able to move on from it when you need to. Spiritual people also self-actualize. So what does self-actualize mean? You are able to identify the things in yourself, like your values and your beliefs, and know what it is that you need to work on to become a better person. You become all about growth, personal development. These are the things that continuously make us better. We're not satisfied with just standing still and being okay with whatever is happening around us. We are accountable. We take accountability for our thoughts and our actions, and we move forward so that each day we are better than we were the day before. Spiritual people also flourish, and be flourishing in the ways of healthy relationships, having high self-esteem, developing and finding meaning and purpose in life. Flourishing just means that you are going through life and you are doing the best that you can, and you're going to you use everything that you've gone through and everything that you've done as a stepping stool to get to that next level that you want to get to. And the last one, spiritual people take time to savor life experiences. Yes, in the age of social media, everyone wants to post every single thing that they do every single minute of every day. But in making sure that you're taking the time to post these things, you are not really experiencing them. You're not savoring in the moment. Spirituality encourages you to make sure that you are connecting with the moment, the things that are happening in that moment, the people that are happening in that moment, and any emotions that you experience. Because when you're able to savor them and connect with them and really feel them, you'll know how you want to feel. Or continue feeling. You'll know what you feel is acceptable and what you no longer want to have around you. Spirituality makes you look at things in a different manner. You may go from a person who's posted every single thing that you do in a day to maybe posting once or twice. But the things that you post, the content that you post changes, and it's not necessarily about you. It could be just a quote that you feel someone else may need to see, read, or hear, however you put it out there. But you learn to savor your experiences in the moment. It's something that I want everyone to remember, and I alluded to it in the beginning. Spirituality is not one size fits all. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone is introduced to spirituality in different ways. So everyone is going to have their own path. And of course, yes, this path will lead you to finding your meaning or your purpose, however you want to define it. But it's not a one size fits all path. At this time, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself or you can put it in a chat box, and I will be more than happy to answer the questions for you. Okay. So, I love to keep in contact with everyone. So here's where you can find me. You can find me on Facebook at Coach Keisha Golder. You can find me on YouTube at Keisha Golder, LinkedIn at Keisha Golder, and of course, my website, KeishaGolder.com. And when you go to the website, be sure to check out past web classes. Also check out blog posts. And if you want to send me a message or have a conversation with me, leave a comment to send me a message. If you want to book a session or a consultation call, be sure to do that. I am here for you. If you have something that you want me to talk about, possibly in a web class or a question, feel free to do that. I'm here to help not just myself, but everyone. So I am open to hearing what you have to say. Next week, we are talking about purpose, but not just purpose. What does finding your purpose mean? I talk about finding your purpose and living the life that you want, but what does that actually mean for you? Again, here is the Life Purpose Makeover Journey, 3-stage, 9-step program. Tonight, we talked about spirituality, which is a part of your belief systems, and making sure that you know what those belief systems are so that you can know who you are, which will in turn lead you to being able to live in your purpose and define your life the way that you want to define it, not the way that someone else wants to define it. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I look forward to seeing you next week.